Well, Blade fans, cue in the James Bond theme. Today is TKELL Agent Day. And I was going to do these two new ones that I did not yet do individual reviews on. I was going to do them separately, but I figured, this is an opportunity having 3 of the Agent series from TKELL knives available, which started off with the Agent 001 and then the Agent 002, and finally now the Agent 003. We're going to take a look at these all and kind of do a compare and get as detailed as possible on maybe some of the advantages of each blade style, because there are almost no disadvantages. These are small, compact knives that are meant to be carried daily, either on the belt, inside the waistband, in the pocket, what have you. They are extremely effective and extremely convenient, these TKELL agents. And by the way, Tim is not done with the Agent series by a long shot. Personally, I'm working on a design with him. I'm not going to let you know exactly what that is until we're a little further along, but I'm most pleased and privileged to be working with Tim on a design that I can contribute to. And there is the Agent 007 from Tommaso Lass that is yet to be produced. Now, these are all in different cycles, and I haven't taken the sheaths off yet. I realize that. These are all in different cycles, so the availability is going to rise and fall as near as I've seen. So the best thing to do, I'm going to give you links to the TKELL website, is to go out there and put your order in for what you want. Either it's going to be available soon or it's about yet to drop. So this video is mid-August and 2024. Things are going to change as time progresses, and many of these knives are going to be available perhaps immediately when you order them. But be patient. Good things take time, as they say. So let's get started. We're going to reveal each of these knives. The one you've already seen is the collaboration with the knife junkie Bob DeMarco. This is the Agent 001, the first of the series. The handles on all of these knives are going to be identical in profile, and they're all going to have different handle scales on them. There are 20 or 25 or more different choices of handle scales on Tim's knives, which is really terrific. And I don't know how he does it, because each knife series is slightly different, and he needs to make these for each individual model in most cases. Some share the same handles, however. I might remark that the sheaths on all these knives are probably the best in the industry. They snap in positively. They have a ramp with jimping that easily lets you thumb it off, so you don't need to yank on the knife to get it out of the sheath. If it's in your pocket, certainly you can just pop it right off, and you can do it slowly and there's no noise whatsoever. So as I said, this knife was designed in part by Bob DeMarco. It was kind of his brainchild to have this particular type of knife and the blade design. And I'm going to go over each of the blade designs and give you my take on them. This is the next in the series, which is the Agent 002, a Wharncliffe. Finally, being released now, I believe, is the, or very soon, is the Agent 003. And Tim took this blade style from his Night Stalker, okay? The OG Night Stalker. So here you see a photo of the Night Stalker with the ring, and we have the same blade design here in the Agent 003. I find that quite interesting and useful. Now, one thing that is going to apply to all the knives, and I'm going to introduce you to this knife if you didn't see my individual review on it, the Agent 001. Each of Tim's knives has a coating of nickel boron, and that is said to be up over 70 Rockwell in hardness. All coatings, as Tim has said in the past, will wear off eventually, but this is an extremely hard coating. The steels are going to vary. I believe this one is an AEBL, which is a stainless steel, kind of akin to 14C, but has some additional characteristics that make it a little tougher and more robust and suited for outdoor knives. This Agent 001 comes in either a double edge or a single edge. So if your jurisdiction, your area that you live in, does not allow double edge knives and you're not willing to risk it and carry a double edge knife, you can get this in a single edge. One thing that makes this particular model stand out is a little longer blade. I'm going to compare these side by side in a moment, and a longer flat thumb ramp, whereas we have angled thumb ramps on the other two knives. The handle on all of these make them equally adept at both point down or TKELL or point up. And you've got plenty of thumb ramp there, which I like. Now, I sometimes like to reach way out like that in the so-called Filipino grip, but obviously we don't want to do that with this particular knife because you've got the double edge, and most double edge knives are not going to allow you to do that. So you can pull back just a little bit and still get a very good purchase with your thumb on that. And this is, I don't know whether to call it aggressive or not. I would call it aggressive. It's not going to bite your thumb, but it certainly is going to grip your thumb. And if you've got gloves on, it is especially useful with gloves, and you ain't going to feel a thing with the gloves on, but it's going to be nice and grabby. And that's a fistful. Each of these handles is a full size handle. Love it, because there are some knives in the lineup that have a little shorter handle, and a lot of people love them. I just happen to prefer a knife with a full handle like this. And this bird's beak that's on each of these handles is really incredible for snagging it with your finger, almost like a ring, and pulling it out of the sheath. So when you get it here and you've got a little bit of a persuader on each of these, a little bit of a glass breaker, and when that's in the hand, it does kind of angle 45 this way, but you could actually take the knife in the sheath. Let's put it back in the sheath here. You needed to break glass, you use that as a hammer, whack, and that glass is going to pop in a car, automobile, and you might already have it in the sheath if you're trying to get out of a vehicle that's going underwater or whatnot. But that's a good good whacker to be able to crack that glass. So with the double edge on this knife, it makes it particularly very good for TKELL use. Thumb on top, beautiful platform, cap it, and get a lot of strength going in. All right, so if you know your knife technique and you know your point down technique, that's going to be very familiar to you, and you're really going to love this. Moving on just a bit, so those are some of the virtues of this particular blade style. I'll give you just a few more. It's hard to see, especially on the double edge, but this is actually a bit of a clip, okay? So we've got straight, we've got a beautiful belly for slicing and EDC work, and we've got this little bit of a clip that lowers the point slightly, and Bob and I both like that point on line with the center line of the handle, and that's exactly what's happening here. Moving on, Agent 002. And this particular one, AEBL, okay, so there you go. This first one wasn't marked. It was an early batch, Tim tells me, but it is AEBL. When we get to this one, you're going to see that some of these are made in 80 CRV2, which is an extremely tough butt not stain resistant steel. However, the nickel boron plating on these, the coating, not really a plating, it bonds to the metal. So Tim tells me. All these are USA made, but that nickel boron finish, what it's going to do is prevent corrosion and rust for a good long time. And whether or not they can be recoated down the line, I really don't know. Time will tell. Tim's been in business now for well over 5 years, I think, I'm guessing. And he is evolving as he moves along. So as I said, all these handles are the same, exactly the same full-size handle, except now we've got a little different blade shape, and we've got a blade that is about an inch shorter. About 3/4 of an inch shorter, something like that. So in that respect, they're not all the same. So we've got a shorter Wharncliffe here. Obviously, it's going to be a little shorter overall package in the sheath, which you may like. It may or may not be a difference for you. Look at the thickness on this steel. So what we've got, I can give you some measurements in a moment too as well. So what we've got on this stock is 0.16, which is 4.1 millimeter. This is a good hefty stock for sure. I'm going to leave my caliper over there. And here's one where you can definitely lay that thumb completely out on your push cuts, whatever you're using this for. An extremely useful EDC knife, as well as, if you follow Dirk Pinkerton, one of his favorite designs for a tactical knife. Because you can thrust with this puppy. A little thrusting paper here. You can thrust with it very nicely. And the thing about this is that on the cut, it is like a hangnail. It is grabby. The trailing edges, the trailing edge, I would call it, not really a point because it doesn't go up in the air, but this rounded belly is not going to give you quite as much digging in on the slash as this little beast. So even at a length of 3 inches, and we may as well get the tape on this guy too. It's Agent 003. So we got 3 1/4-ish on the Agent 003, slightly longer. And give you the full Monty here. A little over 3 1/2 on the Agent 001. I actually thought it was a little longer than that. It's like a 3.6 inch to the handle. So none of these are large blades. You can carry them easily, beautifully. And the stock sheath, if you don't ask for a different type of attachment, is going to have this nice plastic belt hook, okay? So you can wear it on the outside. You can't really wear it on the inside, and you might be able to angle this. I haven't tried it. But Tim also offers DCC clips, double DCC clips, but this is great for scout carry or appendix carry. And carrying that right in the front of you, next to your belt buckle, a little off to the side, that seems to be the preferred way with this range of TKELL knives. So I was still talking about the Agent 002, that thick steel, and they all are the same stock. So you're going to see that on the spine of the knife, on the tang, that is a full thickness, 4.1 millimeters. So will the Agent 002 suffice as a TKELL knife? Yeah, certainly. Probably not as proficiently as the 01 or maybe even the 03. But yeah, I mean, still going to work. Would you want to hold it this way? You could. It's not as comfortable, and you don't have that hook under the index finger. But yeah, if you wanted edge in, point down, you could definitely use it that way. It just, for me, just feels a little weird with that hook going the wrong way. But yeah, can be done. So either way, and but this is just really both a thruster and a cutter and a great utility blade. That is the Agent 002. The Agent 003 is a new one that takes, as I think I was mentioning to you, let me pull my phone out here for a minute, that takes its shape, I did say this, from the Night Stalker OG, all right, the original. And so we've got a long clip, really nice, long clip that places that point right on line with the center of the handle. So very intuitive. You can, with this one, because you've got a long swedge, not a sharpened one. And somebody asked him, can you sharpen that? I mean, you could, but it's just too short a grind there to really get you any kind of an effective edge. Although, if you use this in TKELL, you do have a little more penetration because of that swedge and because of the elongated point there. So again, that could be used that way, or could be possibly used this way. You just can't get your thumb there as comfortably because the hook is going into your thumb. So you would omit the thumb and simply use it that way if you needed to have the edge in. Otherwise, this is a lot more comfortable, although you don't have the cutting power on the way in. But for EDC, again, you've got a belly on this one. If you prefer a knife with a long tapering belly, that's what I need, a long tapering belly. Great point on that one. Same stock as the other knives, 4.1 millimeter. Great balance. These all seem to balance out. Well, they're going to be a little different because of the blade length. But this one is, the 03 is balancing out on that first little nub there of the finger grooves. Let's see where the 02 balances. 02 is going to balance back just slightly more because of a shorter blade, less weight out front. And the 01 is going to balance, again, right on that first hump there of the finger grooves. So getting back to the 03 again, I think these are being released soon. They may not be released at the time you see this video, but certainly within weeks or even possibly as long as a month out from there, you will see the Agent 003. And subsequently, all of the other versions are going to be out with this particular handle, the Agent handle. Really great, comfortable handle. Tim is saying this is probably his most popular knife ever, and he has lots of models. Speaking of which, this is the Guardian. The reason I'm pulling the Guardian out is that it's somewhat the progenitor, perhaps, of this one. This one's a progenitor of that one. Yeah. Early in the morning, once again, that's my excuse. So we have the Wharncliffe style, but we're going to call that perhaps a reverse tanto. You might get away with calling that a reverse tanto, but you got a really long slope there that I think kind of puts it in the Wharncliffe category, particularly since we've got a straight edge there. Got a straight edge here too, but we've got 3 edges on the Guardian. It's just a wicked tri-edge knife. Very strong bevels here too. Big old flat here, but let me tell you, these things cut like nobody's business. How well do they cut? I don't know. Let's grab some paper, but I mean, it's going to be a paper test, folks, not a flesh test. And believe it or not, there is a difference. The Agent 01. What kind of edge? Oh, I'm telling you, Tim just puts some insane edges on his knives. They're all put on by hand and in his shop down in Georgia. All USA made, in case you're wondering. No Chinese knives here. No Canadian knives, no Taiwanese knives. They are US of A, folks. Oh, and that one too. My God. Finally, The paper test on the Agent 03, just as great. I mean, wow. Wow, wow, wow. These things will cut anything. So, you know, some of the advantages of this knife, it might be your best all around so far, Agent knife. Just for field use, for defensive tactical use. If you don't need an edge on top, if you do need an edge on top, this is your baby right here. A little bit longer blade and very versatile, thanks to that collaboration with Bob DeMarco, the knife junkie, and the great and powerful, as Bob likes to say, TKELL. I hope you enjoyed this little foray into the Agent series of knives so far from TKELL Knives. And I think I mentioned 80 CRV2. Yeah, this one is 80 CRV2. There you go. And there's your final lineup for size compare. 01, 02, 03. Thank you, TKELL. Fantastic work. And looking forward to our future collaboration, as well as all the other Agent series knives that we will be seeing, I'm sure. Visit TKELL. I'll leave you the link, and pick out something you like. It will be a lifetime purchase, an heirloom. Be well. Take care.